Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Welcome back to the channel. That is the stone bridge behind us that we built last year. This is a retaining wall, kind of help holding that bank up that we did. This is a little seasonal creek that comes through here, and this I'm standing in over here. And this is a rock shelf that we've been digging out and exposing because the Admiral, she wants a natural swimming pond out here. Now there's a ton of questions on the previous video. We'll address some of them today. We're also going to talk about the dump truck project and where that build stands because we had a little unexpected turn. We'll talk about that in today's video as well. Let's get to work and just kind of see where the day takes us. A ton of people asked where we're going to get the water since this is just seasonal, but this water will be separate from what's going on here because we don't want any wash down messing up the system. So we will clean this out. We will lay this up with mortar and this stone and make it tall enough that anytime this flashes or anything like that, that is all completely separate from what's going on there, but it kind of looks like it's all the same. That's the plan for that. We'll have to bring water in for this feature here. Chain's a little loose and I brought the wrong scrunch because I wasn't paying attention. See how that does nothing? But I found this laying in the back of the side-by-side. So if I cram that in there, I take 5 minutes to get the right tool when you can spend 10 minutes doing this. Hey, it worked. Well, that's wild. So basically we're just cutting all this stuff up into smaller pieces. Just makes it a little easier for the backhoe to handle it. Hopefully we don't break the recoil on this thing. From coming in and out of here with the loader, we keep just pushing this up and it's turned into a speed bump and it just throws the heck out of the machine every time it comes through. So we're going to smooth that real quick. Easy, bud. Easy now, easy. Easy down. Now I could go grab the grapple for this, but for no more than what we're doing, we'll just do the old bucket transfer. That should be fine. Add a little bit more of this stuff. There we go. About got you guys. This is when the brake steer is going to come in handy for sure. Oh yeah. Probably right about there. Easy. Next, we're going to take the whole end of the operation. We're going to slide this bank over about 3 feet. We're getting into these roots a little bit. This tree doesn't look great anyway. You can see it's missing quite a bit of leaves on its top. Same with that one. These were both really heavy in vines. We cut and killed a lot of them when we first got the property. But I'm thinking, I hope not. We'll give them a chance, but I'm thinking these two are going to be on their way out anyway just because of that. This definitely isn't going to help, but it's where we need to be. A little close to that edge over there at the outrigger. Here's to hoping we don't end up in that upside down. It's a fine line between getting a big bucket of dirt and pulling myself off this ledge. We're gonna have to watch this outrigger pretty close, so we're gonna pull ourselves into this big pit of, pit of not a good day. But I'm gonna dig a little bit more from that. I do plan on rinsing the 304 from Dirt Perfect to get the rest of this out. We'll shuttle dirt from the 304 into the front loader of the backhoe and do the old load and carry to get stuff out of here. But 304 is not available today, not for another couple days. And we got some more backhoe work we can do in the meantime while we're still kind of planning things out. So here we are. Save these for later. I don't know if I can lift this one. Oh gosh. Oh. Oh man. This is when the hose blows. Careful. Woo. we're definitely starting to get some depth. What I'm trying to figure out is how deep I can go before I hit that next rock layer. I bet I'm still a foot above it or so. This showed up. I didn't think it was going to be available for rent this soon, but Mike called and said the other fellow that was using it was done with it. If I want to pick it up, I could. So here we are. Here's the plan. We're going to use that to just grab material and put it in the bucket of the 555, and the 555 is going to be our dump truck. I did promise you an update on the dump truck, so here's where it's at. Now I'm going to show you this, but this is a spoiler alert. Also, you got to promise me that whenever we come time to show this video, when we get enough stuff done to show the video, you can't tell me, hey, we've already seen that, because you haven't. You haven't seen the whole painting process. But here it is. She's got one coat of blue on it as of now. I was supposed to pick up a dump bed a couple days ago. I messaged the guy. I said, hey, you want me to put a deposit on this? Can you hold it for me? He's like, no, don't worry about the deposit. No worries, it'll be here. I went to call him the night before, and I said, hey, just come and get that bed tomorrow. Just double checking it's still available. He goes, actually, the guy picked it up this morning. That is the second time that I've found the perfect bed, exactly what I want, in my budget range of what I want to spend on it to make it make sense. That, hey, you want me to make a deposit? No, it'll be here. Gets sold. It's the second time. Third time's the charm. That's what I'm hoping, though. I can take the bed I have for $1,500 worth of steel and probably 2 weeks worth of work. I can expand it out to the length that I want, reinforce it, and make it work. But I really don't want to take 2 weeks to build a bed. I just kind of want to find one that's pretty close, take a couple days to do a couple modifications, set it on there, and be done. This last one literally came off the exact same chassis that would have been going on. So the bracketry and everything would have been done, just some new hoses. The good news on that dump truck, I don't need it. I don't need a single axle small truck until fall, like late October. I got a job that I want to do with it. Until then, we can get by with it just fine. Even if we had it running, I wouldn't be running it right now just because we're running on dirt. It's soft. It rained last night. It's kind of rough, and I don't really have a good place to make the dump truck work. The backhoe is working pretty daggone well. But I wanted to give you an update because I know we started on that, and people have been asking about it. Also, we did get a little rain last night, just a touch, so she may be a little muddy sloppy for us. Look at there. Well, there's the start to a swimming hole. Stuff packs real tight, so hopefully we'll be okay through this section. I have to go slow and be careful for sure today. That's going to work like that. But I got an idea. We're going to pluck some more rocks off the top of that and clean that shelf off a little bit better. But we're not going to do it with the smooth face bucket, because that smooth face bucket's so wide, if you start prying on a corner, it puts extra pressure on the pins. It's a good way to break something. We'll do it. I brought the small tooth bucket with me too. We'll do it with that bucket when we get to it. Let's try to get the bulk of this material hogged out though. Whoops. Just like that. That's what I'm trying to avoid, but here we are. So essentially what I'm doing now, and I'm not a huge fan of it, we're going to have to be touching the material twice, but because I can't get the backhoe where I need to position it to load the bucket, we're just kind of having to swing everything uphill. We'll put it in a pile up there, and then we'll be able to get the backhoe in a better position to load. And we'll just have to touch it again. But this is a pretty quick little machine, so come on. Let's see if this thing will let us back up or if we're just gonna spin. Hold enough to brake steer. That is an issue, boys. Come on. All right. Break out the paddles. We're doing a little swimming. Come on, Stone. We're just a sliding now. We really don't want that. No. Oh gosh. I'm not going to risk sliding off this thing, and I'm not going to fight the two-wheel drive, even with the diff lockers. With the backhoe today, it's just too dangerous. But there's still plenty I can do with the Mini, and we can get all that material worked up here to where we need to be. We'll be ready to run the backhoe on this tomorrow. You can almost see the moisture coming out of the ground. The heat's so crazy right now. It's like a reverse rain. It's pretty wild. Let's hop down there with the Mini and do some more cleanup work and get that shaped up the way it needs to be. I'll also tell you what we decided to go with. So in the previous video, we talked about whether or not we're going to do a swimming pond with a bog style pond filtration system upstream, or just put a little pool in here, like a above ground pool, and kind of fancy it up around it. And a lot of people said don't do the pool, it'll look tacky, and I have to agree, it would definitely look very tacky. And a lot of people said don't do the pond because it's a crazy amount of maintenance. And I have to agree, it sounds like a crazy amount of maintenance. I think we're going to do a little bit of a compromise. We're going to take a pond liner, put that down in the bottom, do some pea gravel underneath that, or on top of it I should say. And then we're going to run a salt water chlorine system, filtration system, with a regular sand filter pump. And with a pond liner, it'll be kind of darker in color, so it won't stick out like a regular above ground pool will. We'll stack a bunch of rocks and stuff around it to try to make it look like it blends in a little bit. And we'll take the filter and we'll make a little waterfall coming out of the side of the hill, so it'll look like there's a natural spring flowing into it. That's kind of what we're picturing. So hopefully it doesn't look tacky like a pool, but has a little bit easier maintenance than a natural swimming pond, because I've watched a lot of videos where people say these natural swimming ponds are great, they're awesome, and then, you know, like a year later you don't see any more videos on it, which always makes me suspicious. So because this is perfect. Imagine a walkway coming around right here. I'll paint it all out for you before we're done, okay? All right, so this is starting to take shape. Imagine a walkway, shelter house on that ledge, walkway through here. Person can walk down on around. And the way this rock broke off and gave out right here, you can slope and we can walk right down into it if we want. And then that's got to get pushed back all the way to where that rock ledge is. But we can't do any of that until we get the rest of that out of the way. Moving the material, getting it out of here is the most time-consuming part, but I think that'd be big enough for a plunge pool. It has dried up pretty significantly in the last hour. I don't know if it's dried up enough, but it has dried up some. I'm gonna fire this thing back up and well, it feels better already. I'm not even using the diff lock yet. I think we'll be okay for a few passes. Let's see if we can get any in the bucket. I know I shouldn't say it yet, but it's going okay. I think we're ready for this setup now. It's still a little slick. You just got to get lined up to where you want. Get on the diff lock, hammer down on that throttle, and don't let off until you're happy with where you're at. That little alarm, I wouldn't worry about that little alarm. Anyway, what I was saying is now I can swing over from this. And I know it seems silly to load that bucket, but I'm gonna have to swing this material over to the pile anyway. Might as well swing it to the pile where there's a bucket sitting there. Diff lock, throttle. Get my wheels pointed the right way. And then we go. A whole lot of that and we can get all this stuff out of here. Easy on the bridge now. So this is actually working fairly well. I just keep piling stuff up over here, making a little basin. Then I'll do 3 or 4 trips just pulling the pile back and loading it up with the backhoe. And then when I start running out of material, I just come up and pile it back up again. It's been working pretty well for me. So we got another surprise rain. It wasn't supposed to rain any, but that's okay. It's really been pretty dry lately. So we needed the rain. I'm not going to complain about it, but it is going to shut us down for a couple days. But with the heat we're having, it'll sucker back out in no time. We'll be fine. But I'm going to paint some things out for you so you can see what we're thinking. You see the edge of the rock ledge right here? It continues all the way right through here. So that'll all get cleaned back to the edge of that rock ledge. Where we've got that stockpiled, that all gets pushed back to where the road is at, and then we're going to build a shelter house on top of this rock ledge with the railing along it, and any pump equipment will go up here in an enclosed area. And then there will be a walkway that comes around this side. If you can see where I'm painting, it'll come around this way all the way down. You're getting the picture. It'll come down this way. We'll walk around and you'll be able to walk in right here if you so choose. So rock face on that back of it. We'll have to stack a wall up on that side to close that off. Even though this does somewhat hold water, that material does perk out after a while. We're going to put a liner in anyway just to help it keep a little bit cleaner. We're going to pump it up, like we said, the pump up there at the sand filter and a salt water system, and then the discharge will run down, we'll pipe between somewhere in the rocks so it looks like there's a spring coming out of it. A few people thought that we might be running water from the creek in this or building this in the creek and water flowing through it. This thing only flows seasonally. The other thing If we put it in there, it's just washing down material all year long. It would be an absolute nightmare to try to keep it clean. Eventually it would just fill up. So this helps us keep a mechanically clean system, but still somewhat incorporated so it looks a little natural. With the black liner and the stones around there, I think it's gonna be a pretty sharp look. I think it'll have some of the conveniences of the pool, but it won't have the look of a pool, hopefully. I think it's gonna be pretty slick. And then right through here, we'll build a little wall up, mortar, concrete, the whole 9 yards. That way, if this ever flashes, it just keeps flowing on down and we don't have anything running down into this. Again, this is like a plunge pond, right? We're not floating in tubes, we're not swimming laps, we're not doing anything like that. You're hanging out at the shelter house, having a good time. It's a hot day, you can come down, you can plunge in, get a dip, cool off, and go back to hanging out, whatever you want to do. It's just a place to escape from everything. That's the whole point. That's why people go somewhere, to get away from whatever they're doing, right? I think it's going to be pretty awesome. And for those wondering why we're building a DIY plunge pond right now in the middle of the woods, instead of working on the YouTube yacht, well, the YouTube yacht is YouTube revenue funded. You know, the YouTube yacht, the steamboat shaped and themed rental cabin that we're building in the middle of the woods. Well, windows is the next big step that needs to happen. And windows are pretty expensive. It just gets cooler every time I look at it. So while we save up YouTube revenue for the windows so we can proceed with that, we've got to produce other content. Well, when we have all of this limestone and some split face block that we got for free from other projects, a tremendous amount of material to do some hardscaping with, this seems like the obvious answer. Not only is it hopefully some decent content, but it's also an awesome project that we've wanted to do for a while and that the Admiral definitely wants. This seems like the low budget project to be working on while we save up the revenue for those windows. So that's the why. You guys kind of understand the how and a little bit of the what. You want to see how this thing turns out? That was cool. Stay subscribed. Make sure you got your notifications on. We're working on it, hopefully on the next video, getting the rest of that material and the rest of the excavation out, and then starting on retaining walls, getting some tuck pointing done on the stacked rock walls we already did, and maybe cutting some of the trees down for the material to build the shelter house with. We will be back on the world headquarters here in a few weeks as well, because we're partnering up with Factor. They're giving us $2,000 to work on that project, which will be some, well, you'll see what it gets used for, but it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome too. We got a lot going on, but I feel like I'm a decent multitasker. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.